Now, I'm sure that title unsettled you, but let me explain. So building muscle is much easier if you are focused more on just moving weight over mind muscle connection, especially for naturals. So I spent so long focusing on just mind muscle connection over just trying to adjust the amount of weight I was using, that my weight that I was using stayed the same for roughly 2 years. Now, 2 years have passed, and in these last 2 years, I've focused on just upping the amount of weight I've been just trying to use. So just progressively overload. If I can move forward, I'm moving forward. That's the progressive approach I focused on. So in the 2 years, I was focusing on just mind muscle connection. I did 2 years, and guess what happened? Pretty much nothing. I made very minimal progress. I made progress, but very minimal progress. Now the 2 years that I essentially just focused on moving as much weight as possible, you know what happened? I look like a different person. Simple. So I feel like there are these muscles that are really my best points that I feel like a lot of people struggle to grow. Well, no shit, they won't grow. You're using these little 5-pound dumbbells, focusing on the squeeze, and you've been doing the squeeze motion with the same 5-pound dumbbells for 2 years. No wonder your delts aren't growing. They have no reason to grow. Why would they grow? You know what a bird does when it wants its child to grow? Kicks out of a fucking nest. Essentially pushing off a building. Not saying you should jump off a building. I am saying that, and I'm also not saying you should abandon all safety, but I am saying that in reality, certain muscle groups can really take a lot more weight than you think they can, and you should definitely try to progressively overload them. You should definitely try to push forward and get more weight on the bar. Take your overhead press, right? For example, do you really think that if you take your overhead press from 135 to 185, your delts aren't gonna grow? They're absolutely gonna grow. And then, so why am I hearing all these people that aren't pressing a lot of weight on delts, that have been doing the same weight for 3 years, say, oh, my delts can't grow. You can't grow big shoulders naturally. Bro, dog, no, throw you some weight on there and just try to get stronger at it. For example, if you take your shoulder press and you add 50 pounds to it, you'll grow a lot. So start focusing on getting strong as your main priority. The squeeze is honestly overrated. Like, you don't need it as much. You don't need to be feeling the muscle. People will say you're cheating the motion. You're not cheating the motion. You're just too strong. You kind of have to realize that form isn't a strict thing. It works on a spectrum. That doesn't mean go blowing your back out on deadlifts. That means that you got to realize that sometimes a little bit of rounding is kind of unavoidable. And also at the same time, if you only do weight that you're going to be able to fill the squeeze on, you're going to limit the amount of weight you can actually add to the bar. Now, adding weight to the bar or the machine or whatever you're doing is going to be the ultimate determining factor in how big you actually get, I believe, especially for naturals. It's a little bit different for unnaturals, but it's a little bit easier for them to grow. The only way to get really big is to get really fucking strong, okay? That's the main way you gain muscle as a natural. Get stronger. And I'm not saying you aren't gonna make progress with just focusing on the squeeze. You absolutely will. Like I said, I definitely had to use the same weight for 2 years, and I definitely still made progress focusing on the squeeze, that's for sure. Like, I definitely still made progress, but it's not the most optimal progress. You can build a good physique, but that's because you'll just be more fit than the average person. If you want to make good results, though, you really got to focus on getting strong as a natural guy. Now, mind muscle connection is still important. But Seth, you just said mind muscle connection is bullshit whenever it comes to working on building muscle. Are you on crack? No, I'm not on crack. Okay, well, yeah, no, okay. Just caffeine. So mind muscle connection actually can be important, and let me lay out a couple reasons why. So the first reason mind muscle connection can be important is if you have muscular imbalances. Muscular imbalances are largely caused because the wrong muscle is doing the wrong movement. Let me give you an example. I have a very big muscular imbalance in my chest to delt ratio, right? So this is because anytime I do my bench press, my shoulders and triceps take over the movement. My chest, I don't really feel it. I just push the bar and it just moves, but I'm not feeling it work, and my delts tend to tire out a lot faster. The most troublesome of these is whenever your forearms take over all your back movements, because that limits the growth of your back a lot. So that's kind of, this can also happen on legs. I have a very big like glute kind of imbalance because, but glute imbalance mainly because my hamstrings kind of take over every motion of my legs. They take over all my squats, they take over everything. My hamstrings, absolutely dummy OP, but they're dummy Braxton broke it, okay? I can do the moon spread, the butt pussy spread very well. I can do the butt pussy pose very well if I wanted to, okay? But yeah. So they cannot take it over. So mind muscle connection could be important there if you focus on getting the squeeze on the muscle you are trying to work on. So say, for example, what I've been doing recently is I've been focusing on doing a lot of mind muscle connection, high rep, very lightweight reps on my chest, for really just focusing on pushing the weight with just the muscle. Like I'm talking grabbing the bar and I'm just basically flexing my chest to get it up. If that makes sense. That's basically what I've been going for recently. And my chest has seen a lot of good growth from it because it's finally working, if that makes sense. It's always going to be working. Like you can still push a bar. You're not going to be able to push a bar without having your chest work. And that's why I'm saying moving the overall weight is going to be important. But focusing a little bit more on the certain muscles is going to give you better benefit for the muscles that are lagging. But so basically what I'm saying is mind muscle connection is very important for helping you get the muscular imbalances fixed. Once you're working the correct muscle, and you're actually good at using the muscle to use the correct movements, that's whenever you can actually move to just trying to get as strong as possible in that movement. So once the correct muscle is working and you get good at it, then work on getting as strong as possible. So you see how I'm saying strength is still the ultimate thing you're going to benefit from, but mind muscle connection can be important for helping supplement for helping you prevent and cure muscular imbalances. Keep in mind I said cure too, or prevent. Keep in mind I said prevent too, because I don't think you should abandon all my muscle connection work. And with that, we'll get into the next category of things, which is how to implement. So how would you program this? How can you, the beautiful person watching this video, benefit from watching? What would I do? So what I would do, if you're an advanced lifter, I would go ahead and take a look at yourself, figure out what muscular imbalances you have. And what I would do is start focusing a lot of my muscle connection work, kind of what I'm doing, on just moving the weight with that muscle by just flexing it. And then if you're an intermediate to advanced lifter, if you're an intermediate to beginner lifter, aka everybody else, aka probably everybody watching the video, what you're gonna want to do is go ahead and you're gonna want to do both. You're gonna want to choose movements that are gonna be your primary source of strength. So like say for overhead press, we'll use shoulders for example, because you've been using it for this whole video, right? Say you use shoulders for example. You can say, okay, I'm gonna do overhead press as much weight as I can get over my head. I'm fucking doing it. I'm doing that, 3 to 5 reps. If I can get 3, I'm moving up. Like if I can do it, I'm doing it. I don't have to feel the muscle working. I have point A, point B, I'm trying to get there. Then you can have a couple back off sets where you do focus on getting the mind muscle connection, maybe 8 to 12 reps, kind of like getting that going up. So you have a couple of sets where you are focusing on getting the squeeze, but you also have your main driver of strength that's going to make sure you're driving things forward and actually making progress. Strength is still the primary thing. And just because you're feeling mind muscle connection in these other movements, I'm not saying to stay at the same weight. I'm saying use your mind muscle connection, still try to get progressive overload, like still try to move up in weight, but if you can't feel the muscle working, then chill out there for a while until you can, I'm very impatient, so I have to do like 5 resets of a training block, so whatever. Basically what I'm saying is that both are important. You should include both. However, mind muscle connection is absolutely overrated whenever it comes to the kind of lifting community's general consensus that it's absolutely everything, because it's not. This comes from the main problem I have with the lifting community is kind of dominated by unnatural lifters, and it creates a problem. It creates a little bit of an imbalance because there are a little bit of training differences. That's for sure. Are there times where you need to do mind muscle connection? Absolutely. But there's also times where you just need to get strong, really strong. As a natural guy, you just need to get strong. In fact, I always thought I had like really bad genetics until I just got strong, and then I realized I was like, oh wait, no, my genetics they're average, but like they're not bad. And in reality, most people are probably like that. Most people probably don't have bad genetics. They're just not strong enough. You can't come to me with, benching 135 overhead pressing 65 pounds and say, oh, I have bad genetics. Bro, you don't know what genetics you have. You haven't built any muscle. You haven't built anything yet. You don't know what imbalances you have. You don't know what strength imbalances you have. Are you eating enough? You know, like, it's going to be a rather short video today, guys. Let me know if you guys like this new backdrop we got going on here. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, subscribe, and never forget,